Hi, I'm Peg Eaton. I'll be your guide today in the Tanzu for Platform Operators workshop. I've been in the software industry for over 25 years. I'm an avid sailor and recently purchased a mobile crate so that my 3 dogs and I can have some adventures all across America. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Tanzu portfolio and then quick review of the Tanzu Observability and dive right into the lab. The VMware Tanzu portfolio is a family of products and services for modernizing your applications and infrastructure with a common goal: deliver better software to production continuously. VMware Tanzu Advanced has high-value capabilities for platform operators. You can apply consistent operation and security for Kubernetes infrastructure and modern applications across multiple teams and clouds, manage the lifecycle of fleets of clusters, and continuously validate cluster compliance. Deliver application continuity and security across clusters and clouds with service mesh. Meet service level objectives with automated failovers and scaling. Secure data with granular access policies and traffic encryption. Manage the service mesh lifecycle alongside your clusters. Implement networking connectivity and security for Kubernetes pods across clouds, even for the most demanding workloads. You can enhance container security with traffic encryption between pods and fine-grained policy controls over pod traffic. With platform observability, you use advanced analytics to get visibility into the health and performance of workloads and clusters across clouds. You'll proactively observe and manage your Kubernetes estate. Kubernetes ingress services enable application availability, security, and responsiveness across on-premises and in any cloud. You can access consolidated L4 and L7 services, including global load balancing, intelligent web application firewall, and container ingress to simplify cluster operation. You can deploy an enterprise-ready Kubernetes runtime to power the delivery of modern apps across on-premise, public clouds, and edge. This includes logging, registry, networking, storage, OS, and cluster API-driven lifecycle management. And there are many of these products in the portfolio featured in the hands-on labs. I won't go through all of these, but provide it as a reference so that you can dive into the details when you have a chance. Tanzu Observability is a massively scalable, real-time analytics platform for metrics monitoring and is offered as a software as a service. Tanzu Observability allows you to ask almost any question of your data and get answers back in real time, then easily turn such queries into dashboards and alerts. Your application environment is most likely emitting a large volume of metrics today. By collecting standard and custom metrics from all over your estate and streaming them to Tanzu Observability, you can achieve unprecedented, unified visibility into the performance of your entire stack. With a metrics approach, Tanzu Observability quickly lets you see the health across your entire system, all from a single pane of glass. Tanzu Observability also allows you to intelligently detect, diagnose, and resolve problems faster and cheaper than traditional monitoring tools. There are 4 major points of why Tanzu Observability is the ideal choice for your real-time monitoring requirements. Metrics as a service with super high performance. Industry-leading query-driven analytics engine. Intelligent analytics-driven alerting. And easy integrations to collect just about any metric. Let's take a look at some examples. Smart alerting allows you to use Tanzu Observability analytics-driven alerting to detect anomalies across your applications, Kubernetes, cloud, environments, and more. Custom dashboards. You can get instant monitoring and observability and correlate data across applications, infrastructure, developer, and DevOps tools of your choice with packaged dashboards, metrics, and alerts. Applications observability allows you to triage microservices and future-proof application performance monitoring with standard-based distributed tracing and metrics. Okay, let's jump into the lab. For today's workshop, we're going to focus on Module 3, Tanzu Observability Basics and go into the details of access, dashboards, charting, and alerting. Maybe at the landing page, let's take a look at some of the components of the web interface. Certainly a new features list here. We're going to come back to that later, perhaps. And you'll notice the cookies policies is kind of normal. You have a month. You can obviously continue to use this outside of the hands-on lab and the workshop today. First thing we want to do is review the user profile settings. So there's a little gear icon up here. I'm going to pop into dark mode. You can do that. Observability is the ability to correlate information across a wide variety of sources. Tanzu Observability has more than 250 integrations, allowing you to collect metrics and traces from almost any source to ask intelligent questions of that data in real time. As you can see, take a look at the integrations page here, all the variety of sources that are available. Give you a chance to explore that on your own. Check out the dashboards selection here, where you can create a chart, create dashboards, and you can look at all the existing dashboards. With Tanzu Observability dashboards, you can visualize, correlate, and ask intelligent questions in real time of the data collected by these integrations. Dashboards are composed of charts which are built with the query builder or the Wavefront query language or even PromQL. There's certainly some pre-existing dashboards that we'll browse through in a bit. Continuing across the UI, however, let's take a look at the alerting tab. The alerting is driven by the same Wavefront query language that drives dashboards. If you can visualize it on a dashboard, you can alert on it in alerting. The applications menu gives access to status, maps, table view, error percentage, distributed tracing, and opinionated dashboards for the services and operations. We'll cover this in detail later in the lab. And with the Browse tab, here you can browse all your raw metrics that are coming into the Tanzu Observability. You can also search your metrics by sources or check out various events. You can also view maintenance windows, derived metrics, proxies, alert targets. The Settings tab, in addition to accessing a user profile, the menu provides access to the docs as well as configuration options and slow running queries. Let's navigate to the dashboards for our next step. Select the All Dashboards as we did the past. You're on the dashboards landing page and ready for the next chapter. VMware Tanzu Observability interactive dashboards enable iterative investigation and faster anomaly detection. By using dashboards, you can quickly compare different sets of data, alter time windows for all data sets, and allow interactions. You can quickly create high-res and high-density charts and dashboards. You can create charts from metrics, histograms, integrations, or chart types using drag and drop. You can instantly visualize the health of your applications and infrastructure, drill down into cloud assets across regions, zones, and instances within a cloud environment. When you want to find a specific dashboard, you can search for it. You can also add tags and favorites as well, as we'll see below. We're going to use one of the built-in tour dashboards for the lab. As you can see in this demo environment, we have many pre-created dashboards, a set of metrics that are running currently to be able to demonstrate the real-time access to the environment. So in the search field, we want to enter, if you're following along in the lab, we want to enter the word tour. Get my mouse to work here, tour, and then select the cluster metrics exploration. And this narrows down the list to only display the sample cluster metrics. From here, you can click on the dashboard name to view it, but before we do, let's look at these options. The checkbox is used to select the dashboard to perform group operations. The three dot icons display the context menu of the dashboard. You can perform edit, clone, deletion, restore, etc. on your dashboard. Just highlight that a bit so you can see it. The star icon is used to make this one of your favorites. Go ahead and click that just for fun. The preview thumbnail previews how your dashboard looks. So you get this little teeny picture of the dashboard. The plus button at the bottom, it's used to add tags to the dashboard. And the small Tanzu Observability logo next to the dashboard indicates the dashboard type is system. It means the dashboard cannot be edited by the user. However, you can clone the dashboard and then edit it. Let's add a tag to the dashboard here. Okay. And we'll create a new tag rather than searching for an existing one. And let's label our tag as HOL. Click add. Let's click on the actual dashboard itself and go over some of the components. These are basic components of a dashboard. Obviously, these things can be customized, but just to give you an idea. So this is the dashboard time window. You can select different time frames from the past to preset there. And then comparing the current data from the past data and see how things have changed. And you can see that the compare piece, again, we can turn that on or off here. I think one of the handiest, there's so much information here, but one of the handiest pieces of this, as you just saw, I can collapse it and then perhaps navigate to specific areas that I'm particularly interested in. And that means that you can tailor a particular dashboard for an audience. If you think about this from a platform operator's perspective, there may be particular areas that you're trying to target for different audiences, and it definitely lets you do that. Especially if you're trying to have a mean time to resolution, being reduced, and you're trying to share, what's going on with a particular app or a particular server. You can do that. You can share those components. So let's jump to the memory section here. Let's adjust our time window. Rather than the last 2 hours, look at the last 10 minutes. And notice that all the charts zoom in. You're seeing some activity there, and you get more detail of what's happening. You can also zoom in on a specific chart using the mouse and click and drag to focus on the chart. So again, we can just pick a particular area and start to focus on that specifically of what's happening. After focusing the chart, notice there are now 2 additional buttons, the sync and time. Synchronize for the dashboard is there, so you can actually get that resynchronized. And notice you get a legend when you hover over the chart, and you can actually pin this with a Shift P. So I'll do that, Shift P, and notice that now my legend associated with this chart is out here for me to be able to browse through and pinpoint what's going on with the, again, sort of particular item within the environment within that chart. There's a lot of information in the legend, including metric name, source, and point tags. If we select a specific source, we'll be highlighting a metric and make it stand out among all the other metrics. This is especially useful when you want to view only a specific metric for better visibility. And also notice that the name of the source that you select the metric is displayed at the bottom. So let's do that. Pop this out for a second. So just by using the legend, having it pinned out like that, I can choose, again, that particular item to view. If I can get my mouse to work, there we go, just like we did when we had I kind of like having the legend there and clicking on the legend, but again, you might not know exactly where you are, but you see some data spiking or some unusual behavior that you want to focus on, so you can do that as well. And also down here in the lower window, we have sources, specifically being selected, and then you can individually, remove them as well. Sharing a dashboard can be really helpful, especially to help speed the mean time to resolution when a team's working on a problem. So this link in the lower corner here will give you the URL that you can share the specific item that you've come across that you'd like to share with others. To have this link here, copy to the clipboard, bring up a new URL, paste it. So you can share with others. And here, let's move on to checking out memory. Jump over the CPU. Now you see the overlay chart with the dotted lines that are here. I'm trying to show you with my mouse, but I'm getting the other tab coming up. And you can see that in the other charts as well. So let me go back to turning the compare off. Notice what the chart looks like. this stage. And then again, we'll go and do a day ago compare, and you can see at this time of day, again, what the comparison would be with the CPU. And you can see that with the other areas as well. Okay, cool. Pretty handy for troubleshooting. Okay, so now let's go up and create our own chart here. Go to dashboards, create chart. If you're following along in your lab guide, choose metrics. And then we choose simple. And then we choose CPU, usage, user, percentage. Okay. Bingo, we have a chart. You can add this to an existing dashboard or create a new dashboard. Charts can be created using Query Builder or by entering these queries directly. So a lot going on in dashboards for sure. A lot of data to be covered. Pretty handy stuff. Remember, with a Control P, you can pin that legend that's there. Shift P, sorry. You can pin that, and you can also look at the different sources by clicking on the legend, or particular, you can highlight it on the graph itself and look at a specific data as well. Cool. So far you've looked at being able to search dashboards, zoom in and see more granularity, compare with previous time periods, and be able to share dashboards and create a chart. Pretty cool. And remember, you can change your time frame and get the data, zoom in a little bit more granularly. We can do a comparison of what was going on, again, a day ago in this case. Okay, so we've had an overview of Tanzu Observability. Now let's take a look at using TO with microservices and distributed tracing, where the TO correlates the microservices metrics, traces, histograms, and span logs into this single platform. This makes it easy for SREs and developers to monitor modern applications with the built-in support for key health metrics, histograms, and distributed tracing and span logs for common languages and frameworks. Beat Shirts is an application we'll be looking at, which is a Java Spring Boot application. So we go to application status, and you'll see Beat Shirts and the various components that are part of that application. We can use the magnifying glass to zoom in on the different components, or even dive more deeper into each of those elements. As you hover over it, you'll see some activity of the flows that happen to be there. And if we click on, say, the styling service, we'll start to see in this flyout menu service name, the technologies that the service uses, and red metrics, things like request rate, error rate, duration, latency. The menu options to dive deeper into an opinionated service and operations dashboard, traces, and alerts. I'll just show you the drop-down menu here. where we can explore those momentarily. But before we do that, let's look at a different way of viewing the application. Up here you get the map view and a table view. And we see that the shopping service, so the shopping service has a pretty high error rate. Let's dive into deeper detail. If we look at the top failed requests, we see that the order shirts request is failing the most and has the highest latency. Let's investigate with the distributed tracing to see if we can see why. So just click on that. So there's a lot to see here. On the left column, we see the traces for the time frame selected. The top and middle right show the services map, trace services map, to where the error occurs. Let's expand the trace itself, make it a little easier to read. You can expand the service delivery trace map up here as well, but let's go for the actual log. As we drill down, we see the delivery controller dispatch. And look at the logs, you get a lot of detail around that item, and the logs are loading. And interesting, so here's timeout exception, and we get the actual line number and the code that we could actually go to where the timeout's happening. So terrific mechanism to be able to quickly isolate errors and then go continue troubleshooting where the error occurred. I hope this has been useful. And that's it for the workshop today. Thanks for taking the time to cover VMware Tanzu Observability. We've covered dashboards. We took a look at the particular cluster metrics dashboard, looked at the way to compare various data points. We covered distributed tracing of the beat shirt application, and there are many more tutorials that you can walk through on the site, and your demo account lets you continue that even outside of this workshop time. Hope you have a great day and enjoy VMworld. Other hands-on labs that you might enjoy as a follow-up to this, perhaps VMware Tanzu for developers, and we also have a workshop on VMware Tanzu Service Mesh that you might enjoy as well. Again, thank you so much for the time today, and please take your survey. It really matters for the work that we do in creating these workshops for you.